I really didn't get around to reviewing Nisekoi episode 11. I mean 8 and 9. I mean, shit, I got the numbers mixed up. It's 9 and 10. I really didn't get around to reviewing 9 and 10 because, again, it feels like one episode to me. And for 9 and 10, it was, on one hand, we had the idea of them going to the hot springs, and most of episode 9 is clearly centered around the idea of you know, the whole hot spring debacle, and that seriously was a gigantic thing for the episode. It had its laughs, it had its craziness, and that is where most of the thing kind of went, and all the way down to pretty much the moment when Chitoge kisses Raku's ass or his back, or I'm not necessarily sure, but man, she kissed one of them, and that was something which did kind of play a part on the episode. Still fucking funny, and how that most of the guys over there, they were actually listening in to all of the girls talk, you know, and there were a few times in which that Raku, he did kind of get away. However, for most of that episode, it reminded me so much of Persona 3 and everything that was going on with that. So honestly, Persona 3 Fest, Persona 3 Portable, hey, if there is anything that I can take away from that, is the fact that I absolutely love that episode 9 was pretty okay. Then moving into episode 10, it was a little bit of something else, of them kind of going into the whole thing of having, I would assume, a trust exercise of having all of the people pretty much teaming up and then going into the woods until the staff just jumps out and scares most of the students, which is actually a pretty funny thing, because seriously, what happened with that was, you know, they had to talk Chitoge into doing it because of, you know, because one of the teachers got sick, and they had her do it, and she walked out into the woods even though she's afraid of the dark, and they left her out there saying that scare anyone who comes by, and that's pretty much what she had to do, which that, you know, with her phobia of the dark, kind of fucked her over. So, you know, there is that. However, before I get into what happened next, this show put a big ass emphasis on the number 12, because that is the number that Raku and Kosaki pretty much got, and they teamed up, and they really fucking told it to you, because it had this elaborate montage of the number 12 just with all these crazy things in it. So I'm like, oh shit, they really want us, man, to like these two being together. I get it, I like it, I want to see them together. Fine, shit. But then the second kind of came, but then on the other half of that, it turned into a whole thing of like, Chitoge is out in the woods. She's by herself. It's dark and all this shit. And then next thing we know is the fact that Raku pretty much just bolts into the forest and goes and saves her. And honestly, it turns into a whole thing of Chitoge talking to Chitoge is out there in the woods and crying. And the second thing, and for some reason, she started remembering her old diary entries of like, whenever, man, she cries, this boy saves her, and you know, he got he has a scar on his forehead and all this other stuff, and which does kind of play into what Raku has now. He did come, man, when she started crying, and he does have a mark on his forehead. Also, it's a boy from 10 years ago in which that she doesn't remember anything about. So these are all these are all clues leading up to that Raku actually does know her. He was actually the boy in her past, and she was the girl in his past. And pretty much that is kind of the biggest thing, which they do kind of reveal in this episode, or at least in these two episodes. I really did like them a lot, but seriously, the mystery of who Raku knew in his past, it seriously is there, and we and they're slowly kind of deducing it for you. So I get it already. He is the kid who actually was with Chitoge when she was a kid, and she's the girl who that he was with for a summer. So there is that. Also, on the flip side, I will be honest, it does seem like that there are two different girls who that Raku was actually talking to. So there is that. I mean, like, I believe that it's both girls. It could be Kosaki and Chitoge, or honestly, there pretty much could be another guy in this story who pretty much did also give her who does have something to do with this locket. Hard to say. That's pretty much what I got to say about that. What do you guys think about that? Please tell me down there in the comment section. I like these 2 episodes, and I will see you next time. I'm out.